Hey, shalom. I'd like to welcome you back to the Newbie Schnoobie Hebrew Aleph Bet pre-module. We made it all the way to lesson 13. I'm going to be focusing today on a little bit of basic reading practice having to do with the last three consonants that we learned. So this will be basic reading practice, and we will be practicing mono and bisyllabic words that begin with the letters Shin, Sin, and Tav. Let's go ahead and begin here on the right, on the first line. Sha, sha. So you want to pay attention to where this little dot appears. We had covered Shin and Sin in our last video lesson. They look exactly the same, except for the fact that there's a little dot. The Shin has a dot in the upper right, and the Sin, as we'll see later on down in this reading exercise, has a dot in the opposite side, in the left-hand side. So this word is pronounced sha, sha. I would encourage you to practice reading. I would encourage you, after listening to me read the word, I would encourage you to repeat after me. And then while I'm reading, you want to make sure that your eye is focused on the exact word that I'm reading. Sha, sha. This word has a shva underneath the shin, so this would be pronounced shasha, shasha. Shash, Shabbat, Basha. So notice I'm enunciating these words predominantly on the last syllable. So Hebrew is enunciated or stressed on the last syllable unless instructed otherwise. So there are diacritical markings that will appear in the Hebrew text of the Bible, and every word has a diacritical mark, no more than one. And the diacritical mark will be an indicator, a sign. It will tell you or indicate where you should stress. We actually get into this in the 16 essential drills. There's a drill that is devoted exclusively to where we should put the stress. Okay, next word, Shabbat, Shabbat, Bosh. So you want to pay attention here. There's a little dot that appears to the upper left of the bet, and that is called a cholam kal. It's a light cholam. Some grammars may reference it as defectiva, cholam defectiva. And so it makes the same sound O that the cholam vav makes. So cholam vav would be the fuller form of the same vowel. And then cholam kal, cholam defectiva, also would make the same sound O, but it's missing the vav. Same vowel, you get a full form and I don't want to call it an empty form, but a form that's missing the vav. Let's go to line 2. Here's a very common word, a very special word in the Hebrew language. It is Shabbat. The only thing that is different about this Shabbat and the Shabbat that many people would celebrate at sunset on Friday evening till sunset Saturday evening, the Shabbat, weekly celebration of the Sabbath, that Shabbat actually has a tav on the end. Shabbat, Shabbat, Bashata, Bashata, Bashata. So in this reading exercise, a lot of the words in here are made-up words. There are a number of actual words, but what I'm going to be doing in the next reading assignment, that will be a more advanced final lesson in our series, and I will be introducing actual words from the biblical text, and every word that we'll be reading will be actually from Genesis chapter 22, verses 1 through about verse 5. So you'll have the sense of accomplishment and fulfillment after accomplishing the next reading exercise to know that you've actually read the Hebrew text of the Bible. And that's a very special thing. The next word is bashta, bashta. Notice the shva in the middle of this word. is what is known as a silent shva. Doesn't make any sound. Bashta. Next word. Sach. Sach. Of course, we have a chet on the end, which is a guttural, pronounced from the back of the throat. Se. Se. That is a lamb. Sar. Sar. Sara is a prince. Yeshua has the name from the book of Isaiah, Sar Shalom. Next word, say. Moving on down to the third line. Sim, sim, as in sim shalom, place peace upon us or give us peace. Sim. Sam, sam. It's a Hebrew word that means to place, to set. All right, so I don't know if you noticed, we've actually graduated from the Shin and began reading the Sin. I don't know if you caught that. So up here in line 2, we have a Shin, and then this would be the dividing mark. At this point onward, we began practicing words that have a Sin, and I just thought I would mention it in case you missed that. We definitely want to be training our eye to differentiate the Shin from the Sin. They are two different letters. They are pronounced differently, though they look very similar. All right, next word. Sa'u. Sa'u. Sama. Save. Save. Sonne. Sonne. Asi. Asi. We have a half vowel here, also called the composite vowel, known as chatef patach. It's pronounced exactly the same as patak, if you remember from our advanced vowels lesson. Next line. Sason. Sason. Samach. Actually, this one, it looks like I had missed a vowel beneath the scene on this one. And so because of the absence of a vowel, we can't really read it. But if we pretended that there was a patach here, it would be pronounced samach. Actually, it'd be a kametz. Samach, meaning he rejoiced. Next word. This would be a silent shva. It's pronounced yismach. Yismach. These are all words that have to do with joy or rejoicing. These three words. Yismach means he will rejoice. Next one. Simcha. It's a holiday in the fall during the time of the Feast of the Tabernacles, right towards the end there. That is called Simcha Torah, rejoicing of the Torah, in which they get out the Torah scrolls, and the Jewish people, the religious Jews, will dance with the scrolls in the shul, in the synagogue, and also outside in the streets. This time of incredible celebration and joy. It is a commemoration of the end of the reading cycle where they have read in Hebrew and chanted in Hebrew every Shabbat from the beginning of Genesis to the end of Deuteronomy. So from the beginning of Bereshit to the end of Devarim. And they are celebrating the fact that in God's faithfulness, they've been able to read through the entire reading cycle, and they will rejoice and have a big holy party. They will rewind the scrolls to the very beginning again, preparation for the next Shabbat, where they will start again at Genesis 1:1. Osei. Osei. Last line. Tat. Tat. So we're moving into the letter Tav. A little bit of practice here. I don't have a lot of practice on Tav, but we've got a few examples here. Tat. Tattoo. Tattoo. Taba. Taba. Tata. Tata. Bata. Bata. Finally, batat. Batat. Let's try this again. I'm going to be increasing the reading speed here just to provide you a little bit of a challenge. So if you find that you're not yet ready for this, I would simply rewind the video, set it back to the beginning, and practice it again. Of course, you'll want to print out your student downloadable handout that also has this, and you can practice reading off the sheet of paper as well as digitally on the screen. All right, let's read this. Shasha, 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 shash, shaba, basha, shaba, bosh, shabat, bashata, bashta, sach, se, sar, se, sim, sam, sa'u, sama, save, sone, asi, sasun, samach, yismach, simcha, oseh, tat, tat, tatu, taba, tata, bata, batat. Okay, finally we're going to go through at an even faster speed. Shasha, 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 shash, shaba, basha, shaba, bosh, shabat, bashata, bashta, sach, se, sar, se, sim, sam, seu, sama, save, sone, asi, sason, samach, yismach, simcha, usay, tat, tat, tatu, taba, tata, batat. All right, that is it for today's lesson. Lesson number 13 was our basic reading practice for the last 3 consonants of the Hebrew Aleph Bet. So that's pretty exciting. That's a huge accomplishment if you followed me through all of these and not just watched the videos, but got your flashcards, spent time, if not every day, spent time fairly regularly going over the cards, training yourself to memorize and to be able to exhibit a knowledge of these letters by sight recognition, including all of the nikudot, the vowels. And so we are going to put the cap on it for today, and I will meet you on the next video for our final reading practice in this newbie Schnooby Aleph Bet series. Lahitra Ot. Shalom, shalom.